So, Andy Townsend, he was actually at the Bernabeu for that remarkable turnaround. That was a year and 5 days ago.
Wow.
Tell us about your memories of it.
Well, it was such an incredible night. I mean, City, over those two legs, had done very, very little wrong. Very little wrong. And then just Madrid do what Madrid do, and they just have these moments, Ali, these spells, Laura, where you can't cater for it, legislate for it. It's just football at the end of the day, and they were out of the tie. They were well beaten. I spoke to some City fans at the airport the following morning as we were coming back, and some of the guys from the stand were trying to book flights for the final up there, and one or two actually reserved some seats. That's how close they were to getting there.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden it's gone, and that's this team. They're just incredible.
Andy, sorry, Laura.
No, go for it.
I was just saying to Laura earlier on, Andy, I honestly think that might just have been Real Madrid's greatest ever triumph in that tournament. Winning that tournament that year, and they were out the competition 3 times.
Correct.
It was an absolutely remarkable how they won that tournament.
Yeah, it was. No, against Paris, Paris just imploded when they had the game absolutely, totally in the palm of their hand. Chelsea, again, were never out of that tie, and they would have thought at one point they were going to be going through. They came back against them. And what they did against City was astonishing. So can you imagine for Pep, who's such a detail man, such a fine margins guy, that he plots and plans for absolutely everything, to try and negotiate your way through this is exceptionally difficult.
Carlo Ancelotti as a manager has 4 Champions Leagues and Pep has 2, and sometimes I think when you talk about Pep as a genius, sometimes you don't talk about Carlo in the same way sometimes, in this country perhaps, but wow, he manages to, his kind of dominance and the way that he gets things done over some of our greats, like the Klopps, for example, and the Peps of this managerial world is so impressive. Andy, I wanted to ask a little bit before we get your top 3 things that Man City must do. We were looking at their formation against Bayern Munich and wondering, they are fluid. They went for that 3 at the back where Stones can drop back from midfield and they can move around a little bit. Do you think that's how they'll approach a game like this?
I think so. I don't think Pep should change what has been working so well for them. So I would imagine, having seen the team that played against Leeds at the weekend, I would imagine that is what's going to happen. Obviously, losing Nathan Ake is a blow. I'm not expecting him to start this evening. So I would have thought Akanji may be the one that has to offer himself a little bit as in that left back role when Stones drops in. But Walker, Diaz, Akanji, and then Stones in there with Rodri, and then the 4 in front of them with the big guy up front. So it's what they do, and as you say, Laura, they're so clever, and there's so much rotation and movement in this City system. When they're at their best, it's so difficult to stop. It really is.
Okay, boys, I want both of your 3 things. So, Andy, why don't you kick us off, and then Ali, you can either agree or disagree. See what you think. Sure.
Right, I've got about 33 here, of course, me, because honestly, it took me about 3 days to think of these 3 things. To be fair, but look, number 1, right, or first and foremost, going into this, preparing tactically, I think against Real Madrid it must be the most difficult, because anything can happen against this team, anything at all. So expect absolutely anything that can happen. After what happened to City last year, I'm sure they understand that. Number 1, if you concede, right? If you concede, and it's a fair chance that you will, the next 5-10 minutes after you have conceded against this team are so important, because they can score 1, score twice, score 3 in like a 5-minute spell and totally devastate the evening in just a little burst that has come out of nowhere. No team does it better than Real Madrid. So if you do go under, you have got to make sure the next 5 minutes you are absolutely focused again, back on it, getting in control of the ball and dictating once more. You cannot afford to just beat yourself up over that when it happens, if it happens. Look, 2, I think Madrid are vulnerable defensively. They've always been. They always give you chances. They always afford you opportunities. City are usually in the mood to take those. I would like to see them, Ali. I don't know if you agree. I'd like to see them occasionally tonight go a little more direct to Erling Haaland, right? Because there's no Militao tonight. He doesn't play. So I would imagine it's Rudiger and Alaba. If David Alaba is playing as a centre-half, I don't see him being able to handle, in particular...
Physicality.
He won't be able to handle him, Ali. If they can find him in that gully, in that space, perhaps a little bit earlier. Now, Rudiger would definitely be up for that. He'll go stride for stride with Haaland, and he'll want to physically go up against him. He'll want to try and manage him and show everybody that he can do it. And he likes that, Rudiger. He's good at that. But Alaba, I'm not so sure. I don't think he can. So I'd like to see City now and again, where they can, get that into Haaland, let him run at Alaba over distance. Not 10 yards, not 5-10 yards, over 20, 25 yards. And I think the big centre forward will leave him trailing in his wake. I really do. So go into him a little bit more, a little earlier now and again, and in particular on that channel. And I think the third one is between the ears. I think the third one, you've got to believe in yourself. If I asked you, Laura, now, Ali, how many of the Madrid team get in to City's team?
Ooh.
Right? How many would you think of the... Now, there ain't many. I don't believe there are very many at all. In fact, normally you'd say Benzema. How does Benzema get in over Haaland? He doesn't, does he? Right? He doesn't. Does Vinicius get in over Jack Grealish? You might say, probably because of the devastating fashion and the pace that Vinicius has got. I mean, I think Grealish has been tremendous. Courtois over Ederson, a toss of a coin. I personally think Courtois got one in him now and again a little bit. He's a great goalie, but he does have a clanger there every now and again. There are very few, Ali, aren't there, that you think Pep would take over what he's got. So, number 3, believe in yourself. I think City are ready more than ever to beat Real Madrid over 2 legs. Forget the history. Forget what they've done and what they have achieved. Go and make your own history tonight. Go and make your own. And I really believe they can do it. If they play like they can, Laura. And I think if they do that, honestly, over 2 legs, I think they can do it.
Ali, what do you think?
I think really key areas in the game tonight are both right-back positions. I really do. I think, like that Andy suggested there, I think Carvajal can be a weak link. I think his use of the ball's obviously very good. But I think in 1v1 situations, I genuinely think Jack could exploit it and can get free kicks in dangerous areas. Equally, the other side, I'll be a little bit surprised if Kyle Walker doesn't start to handle perhaps the pace and the threat of Vinicius Junior, who I watched the highlights at the weekend, Andy. Different class again. Rodrigo got the 2 goals in the cup final against Osasuna. But Vinicius Junior's a threat. I think those right back positions in tonight's game are absolutely vital in the outcome. Also, stating the obvious, both teams in possession of the football are excellent. But the one I was really impressed with recently has been Valverde, box to box. I think City defensively will have to certainly match him, or the midfield will have to pass him on when he moves forward. It's just a game, and you're talking about the 2 centre forwards, Andy. Dear me, arguably 2 of the best centre forwards of recent times. And it's mouth-watering, the clash. But for me, I think key areas would be both right back positions.
Do you know, last year, Ali, I think in that game, Laura, I'm pretty sure Kyle Walker got injured with about quarter of an hour or 20 minutes left. And had to come off in that game, and I remember, I'm pretty sure that when he did come off the field, you know, we're all thinking that's an opportunity there for Vinicius, you know, without Walker. So you're right, that will be there will be a lot of fascinating matchups. That is a huge one. If you can handle Vinicius, and it's the decision making for Kyle Walker when he wants to go flying forward, when he wants to go and join him, when he wants to go and run beyond and make that extra a player in that wide area, as opposed to just staying at home and making sure that he's there to track Vinicius yard for yard. That's the fascinating little cameos that we've got to look forward to. It's such a special game.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.